and let's get cracking straight away with Barcelona. Undefeated run come to an end. Phil, you were on the call for this. Does it make any difference? I mean, all the Barcelona fans are saying, Messi should have played. Why wasn't he there? Does anyone really care?
Well, I think they do in some ways. I think as the season progressed more and more, as they got closer to an unbeaten season, something that hasn't been done since the 30s, and in the modern era, we've seen what's happened with Arsenal and their invincibles. I think it's something that you can take pride in and something that would carry on and increase in luster. And to lose it in the penultimate match in the way that they did, you can talk about Messi, you can talk about Piqué, but once again, I think it was Ernesto Valverde that was just gambling a little too much.
But look at this, Thomas, as a coach. Surely you've got to manage Messi. The league title's over. Is it important to remain undefeated, or more important to look after your key player?
Listen, it was a total idiots' convention, all right, this week at Barca, to be real honest with you. This would never happen under Cruyff or Pep. The board now dictates on-the-field actions, technical areas. We play a midweek game for money and our brand to enhance in South Africa. Okay, we have the Argentinian team that puts pressure as well. So there's nice reasons for Mr. Valverde to say, hey, you don't respect the team you're playing against. By the way, in 10 games, only one loss, 5 consecutive home games. And Valverde is leading up to this again, talking about, I'm playing Messi 45 minutes in South Africa, I got 2 teams, it's a practice game. You know what? That's the wrong mentality, Mr. Valverde. And you know what the biggest mistake is? Not playing Piqué. They scored 4 goals, by the way. They give up 5, so that's the problem.
What's the difference between what Real Madrid then do when they always leave Ronaldo at home? When was the last time Barcelona scored 4 goals and didn't get a result? Go back. Keep going back. You're going to be searching for a really long time.
What did I just say?
It has nothing to do with
What did I just say? What did I just say?
You're blaming Valverde, but big teams leave the big stars out so many times.
Except there's
we can't leave out Messi. They scored 4 goals.
Yeah,
exactly. It's a defense.
Piqué is a defense.
Exactly. But you're blaming the coach.
I disagree with the board decision to play that game on Wednesday and putting Valverde in a position where he has to make some tough decisions. And then you know what? The mentality was totally wrong. Giving up a goal under 10 minutes. Giving up 3 from the 45th to the 51st minute. That's a mentality. A coach can definitely influence that. And if you look at a back four that never played together, maybe I should start a healthy Piqué, which wasn't healthy against Roma.
Yeah.
So Valverde, you got to
Mateo, the point is, the reason they sit Cristiano Ronaldo, they still have a big title to win. For Lionel Messi, he's going on vacation.
Hold on a second, but Zidane has been resting now for a few years to keep him healthy down the stretch. Messi plays much more than Ronaldo does. He's not indestructible. He's going to break down sometime. I agree with Thomas. So now every time we rest him, we have to play the coach.
6 months ago, dude, not on the 34th
Guys, come on, Ray. Come on, Ray. Tell us what you think.
The achievements of this season under Valverde now have been tainted by this one result.
Oh, one result?
They go into this game with a team, like Thomas said, that are on a wonderful streak of form, playing really well. The respect that was shown to Levante by Valverde coming into this game, in a lot of people's minds would have said, well, good, we've got the rotation. In this game, with really a long-living legacy of historical proportions, this wasn't the game to rest Messi. At least have him on the bench. Apart from that, the inclusions of 3 different players in the back 4, the chemistry was nowhere near, and you could see it from there. You could see it from the get-go. But then, when they were 2-0 down, Barcelona get 1 back right before half-time. Now you've got a locker room. Now you can make your changes. After seeing the disaster that had taken place in the first 45 minutes, now Valverde's moment was, now I can reshape it. I trusted you, you let me down, now I can change it. He didn't. They were hit 3-1, 4-1, 5-1. The game's lost. I mean, they did miraculous to come back and make it as close as they did. And then Suarez gets that chance, Mario, to tie it up. And another player that personifies this season for me, big players not living up to big expectations other than Messi. The raft of players like Delafeu, Paco, Digne, Gomes, Vidal, he kind of turned to them.
You're saying one loss taints an entire season where they won the league by 50
Gary, I don't know
points from Real
what
Madrid.
world you're living in, because if you don't understand and you don't appreciate that the Barcelona fans expect situations like this where they've got a piece of history to be made. Remember, Gary, that they're looking at Real Madrid, who are going to win
Might.
Favourites, big favourites to win a third consecutive Champions League. Barcelona, for their pride alone, needed this to show that this is an undefeated team.
I think the other point also is this would have been a big enough Band-Aid to stick over the mess that was a Barcelona season. You talk to almost any Barcelona fan, they realize this team has not been playing well. Lionel Messi has pulled their you-know-what's out of the fire a number of times. This would have been their 10th comeback of the season. They've needed to fight back in bad situations.
Sorry, a double is a bad season.
A double, no, because, again, maybe it's the Jose Mourinho rubbing off for Manchester United, where it's only the results that matter.
You bring out a good point. Let me ask you, Gary, if Man United had put together this sort of team and they had won a double, playing the type of football that Man United have been playing, would you be happy?
The double, I'd be delighted.
And that's the difference
scored more than Real Madrid.
Between Barcelona and Manchester United.
They've scored more
because
than Real
of the
Madrid,
standards, more statistics. There's an aesthetic here that Barcelona hold above.
Matteo, jump in here.
Phil's right. With the situation, how much it would have painted over the cracks, Mario, because they would have said, this is what Barcelona's team's about. We can fight back. The resilience of Valverde is men.
Listen,
the
Invincibles of Arsenal, we've been mentioning them. How long ago was that now?
03.
Almost 2 decades. And
by the way,
we talked about it.
Back then, fans realized it wasn't a great Arsenal, but it looks tremendous now.
We refer to the Invincibles of Milan. I still think, though, it's not like the youth players were playing. You had a €100 million signing, another €100 million signing starting alongside Luis Suarez, one of the most prolific strikers in the last 10 years anywhere in Europe. This is still a team that should have dismantled Levante, a team that was fighting to stay in the top flight.
But that's not true, because they came into that game. Probably the best team.
Hottest team in Spain.
Not against Barcelona.
He plays 6 different players from a team against Villarreal that was scintillating, that were tremendous. Now we go to this tricky banana skin place in Valencia, Levante. We take care of business then, and then we come back to play Sociedad, and we will be immortal.
Give me a last comment. Surely a coach can rotate.
I think we all agree at the end of the day, this particular game was not a game to experiment, to haphazardly roll a team out that Matteo says should still be good enough.
The players themselves as well didn't live up to form.
Absolutely. But you know what?
The manager,
it starts with Valverde.
Completely.
And at halftime, for him to go in there and say, you know what, we're backing this game and giving up 3 in 10 minutes, that's the mentality.
That's the head coach. We talked about it before. You said Busquets not playing. Maybe the poorest game of Busquets all season long. So if you have your senators behind the scenes that aren't living up to scratch, blame the players. It's easy to blame the coach.
Time to move on.
Paulinho there, made a help.
Tough one, Valverde. You've won the double. You're still not good enough according to that panel.